One Turkish coffee without sugar, please.
Yes. Today's subject is Turkish coffee. Why Turkish coffee? Because it's like this amazing smelling little thing which actually almost makes the world turn. After the oil, coffee is the most traded thing. It came from Yemen and before from Africa to Ottoman Empire, and then it distributed to Europe and then to the New World and etc. and became this worldly traded incredible thing which lots of us cannot do without.
I'm one of them.
Bahar is definitely one of them. I'm more of a tea person, to tell you the truth, and I want to tell you about Turkish tea later on sometimes. You might ask, what's the difference of Turkish coffee, Refika, from other coffees? Today I'm going to answer that. Then I'm going to teach you how to make this traditional, incredibly tasting little angel of Turkish coffee. Then I want to make it in an easier way and make it in a different way. For example, what Bahar does, what I discovered and Bahar has been doing for years now, and her morning coffee. And I want to make this milky, great tasting coffee. So 3 coffees and a lot of stories. If you're ready, we can start. First question. What's the difference of Turkish coffee from other coffees? These are 3 coffees. This is filter coffee, which the granules are a little bigger like this, if you can see it from my hand better. The second one is espresso, which is size-wise and style-wise is closer to Turkish coffee. It's thinner granules, but still it's like crunchy and it has to go through a filter somehow. But what Turkish coffee is, it's like more powder-like thing, like this. It's very thin. Therefore, it doesn't need to be filtered. So you can cook it directly. Secondly, you can use it as an ingredient directly, which is also very nice. So the powder has a taste of its own as well. And actually, before these 2 were discovered, this thin Turkish coffee was made and served almost 500 years ago. And actually, in Turkish, if you want to take a breakfast, you say kahvaltı, which is kahve altı, under coffee. What you eat before you have your first coffee, actually. That's what kahvaltı is, the meal that you get so that you can drink your coffee. Anyways, to make traditional Turkish coffee, you have something called cezve. And you have a cup very much like the espresso, which is called fincan. And you need a pack of nice coffee and
May
water.
I ask a question?
Yes.
Of course they don't have this, but they can use an espresso cup and they can use a small saucepan.
Yes, of course. Now, first, Turkish coffee is sold in small packs like this, like about 100 grams, and it's always fresh. When it's fresher, it's better. So always take it in small packs and like use it little by little. And for each person, I have one like heaped teaspoon of coffee. And for the cup, we have these beautiful cups. Actually, Galia Molinas, a great person, bought them as a gift to me, and I think they're really, really beautiful. For 2 people, 2 cups like this. Before we start to put it on fire, I mix it really well. And I turn on the heat, smallest burner of the stove. Now it's high at first, and then I'm going to turn it to a lower heat. And I have to stir it well. In every 20 to 25 seconds, I get in, let it stir a bit, and then take it out. What traditionally is very important is for it to have a foam on top. So you shouldn't like stir it so much that you ruin the foam. You should stir it time to time for the coffee to really get the taste out. Traditionally in families, like when I was a small kid, the youngest girl gets to do the coffee and it's like her responsibility. For a very long time, I was the youngest cousin of the cousins. Until the grandchildren came to power, I was the person who had to make the coffees. And,
Poor you.
Poor me. So my first relationship with cooking is through this beautiful coffee. And when I'm mixing, as you can see, like I mix it like this, some foam is stuck, slow and surely stirring, and the foam goes back in. By the way, I forgot to tell you, if you want your coffee with sugar, we have something called sade, which is no sugar. Az şekerli, a little bit of sugar, orta, medium, and şekerli, which is a lot of sugar. Teaspoon, half a teaspoon. As you can see, the sides of the coffee starts to rise. Not the middle, but the sides. And that's the time you take it off the heat. And a little to the pink one a little to the blue one. Then it goes back to the heat. It's coming, we call it. It's coming, and it came. So, first now, we start with the second one, which is the blue one, and then the pink one. And finally, the third round is when the coffee rises totally. That's it. And now we start with the pink one. And as you can see, there's a thick foam. And this is called fil batmaz. What does it mean? The elephant won't sink. If elephant steps on it, because the foam is so thick, it won't sink. And the traditional Turkish coffee is served again with small glasses of water. Why? Because first you clean your mouth before you drink your coffee, so you get all the tastes, and then at the end as well, because if the granules come to your mouth, you can also clean it with that. And here I have cherry liqueur. Bahar made this last year. It's from Nursen teyze's recipe and it's very nice. Also, some people like it with the liqueur. After you finish your coffee, you drink your liqueur, no?
Also, you can serve some
Turkish delight. And one day we're gonna do that as well. So, this is how it is. And I want to show you my grandfather's drinking. And this is very, very, very important. It's kind of rude in Turkish tradition, but he knows his way. And what it is the taste also comes from the smell. So, what you do, for some reasons, just like these two fingers, and when you drink it like that, you get the air and all the taste of the coffee distributes to the mouth and everywhere, and it's beautiful. And then, if you want, you can. And if you're drinking not Turkish coffee but other coffee, try this. Mix what you drink with some air. It's so good. You go to a friend, have your coffee, and either small talk or make your big talk. And the hardest thing is, like, you have to fill your coffee as much as possible like this, is to carry it to your guest without spilling it. And if you look at it, you'll definitely spill it. I didn't spill it yet. Buyurunuz efendim. This is how you give it.
A few minutes later.
How are your dogs? Are they fine?
Thank you very much for asking. They're all fine. How are your cat?
They're all good. We have peeing problems.
5 minutes later.
What else? What else?
How is the weather? What else?
15 minutes later.
Will you tell me my fortune?
I'll be your fortune teller cookie.
Eventually.
To know a bit more about your future, what you do is when you finish your coffee, you just close the lid like this, hold it like this, you shake it, and then you leave it for it to cool down.
Okay.
And while waiting, have a sip of your.
And like, you should turn your cup to yourself. Otherwise, it's not, well, bottom of the cup. It should be totally cold. And now it's quite hot, so we take a bit of time. At the end of the video, you can find Bahar's fortune that was told by me. You might say, Refika, we like the Turkish coffee idea, but we cannot make this tradition daily. So, I'm going to show you another technique. I have learned this technique in Israel. When we went there, everyone was drinking Turkish coffee and they were just like pouring some coffee and like just mixing it and calling it a Turkish coffee. They said that around 7 times a day they drank this coffee. Its tradition came from the Ottoman times and stayed there. In Turkey, no one, including me, knew about this, and so I want to take back that tradition. And for the ones who have an access to Turkish coffee, which is in many markets all around the world, I want to show you how to make like Nescafe, like granuled coffee and instant Turkish coffee. The glass is quite bigger, so I put like 3 teaspoons of coffee, and what I do, I pour the water slowly. And first, you're gonna have these light brown bubbles coming up. I let it sit for about 40 seconds. This is actually my tea glass that we have designed, but I like making it in that because the mouth part is smaller. The heat doesn't escape very fast, but just on the top part where you have your first sip, you have an opening which cools it. So each time it comes to your mouth, it's cooler. Then I start to mix it. When I'm mixing it, I don't ruin the foam. Then I count from inside like 100, 99, 98, 97. Here is the second version. This is a Turkish coffee that you make in a minute. It's like granuled coffee. Because it's very small, you don't need filtering. And because it's small, the taste distributes really fast and easily. And it's gorgeous smelling. Guys, maybe you're wondering what's the difference of Turkish coffee in the making. I want to give you that recipe later on, maybe this year. I want to take you to a place where they roast the coffee from scratch. So here's the second version. I want to make a third one, which will be a cold coffee. Heaped teaspoon of coffee, and I'm pouring a bit of hot water, and I mix it really well. Let it sit for a while. And in here I have some milk. Now we have this good old French press. So what I'm going to do, use the French press for something else, so that we make our coffee the other way. So the milk around doubles in size. And what I'm going to do is mix the coffee one final time. Add some ice. Whoop. Pour the milk. As you can see, this foamy thing. Nice. It's great, huh? So, Turkish coffee in a classical way, Turkish coffee in a lazy way, and Turkish coffee with cheers. You can add some molasses or honey if you want it to be with sugar, and maybe a bit of cacao to the milk as well. That might create also niceness. So that's it for now. If you like the video, please press like. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. And don't go anywhere, because now you're gonna hear the fortune of Bahar, and you'll hear about how you fortune tell in a Turkish coffee glass.
Neyse halim çıksın falim.
You're in a messed up situation, I can tell. Open the glass. Give it to me. Now guys, you start fortune telling from the handle and go clockwise. And look at the shapes with your open heart. The bottom is kind of like your heart. There's a hole, but freshness is coming to your soul. And there is a deer. Here's the deer. Geyik. Which you're going to make a lot of small talk this summer. You're gonna have light days for a while. You're not gonna go anywhere far away. And there is a genie. Do you see the genie here?
Yes, I do.
And he will take care of you. And there's a bikini here.
Yeah, I see that too.
Yeah. If you want to wear your bikini, he will make you do that, make you achieve it. Here is a seahorse. Maybe a handsome male is going to be there as well. As you know, seahorse males carry their babies. He will take care of you and everything, and your doggies and etc.
I see that seahorse, by the way.
There's another seahorse
there's
growth.
going to be two men. Wow!
So you have a light summer in your future with a lot of love and a lot of bikinis, small talks, nothing heavy, and it will lighten your soul.
What about the plate?
The plate. You had to do this actually. What you do is you make a wish. After it all drips, what you do is you make it turn like this. If it goes down, which it did, your wish is gonna come true. You never close your fortune like the cup again. So what you have to do is leave it open like this. So that's it for now. Aunt Refika takes good care of your fortune.